Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Elena. Today I want to talk about the speaking part, and I want to cover one of the questions that is quite important because you can collect quite few points from it. Let me check if the microphone is on. It seems it's on. I hope the sound is okay. Sorry about that. So I want to talk about the retail lecture because it is quite an important question, because you will be able to collect quite few points from that. And what will happen, you will hear the recording for 60 to 90 seconds, and that is going to be some lecture, and it can be about any topic, but doesn't matter. What is very important in this question is your notes, because if you haven't taken good notes after recording has stopped, there's usually not that much that's left in your head, and ideas aren't that well organized, so you probably wouldn't be able to talk for the time that is required if you haven't taken good notes. So today what I want to teach you is how to make sure that your notes are great, and then how to use those notes, putting them into template, and that way you will collect hopefully maximum points from this question. So let's start from the beginning. For taking notes, you should be able to write down the main idea, the topic of the lecture, and it always comes in the beginning. It's just what the whole thing is about. When they will start talking, you will be able to understand if they're talking about environment, if they're talking about politics, economics, or whatever. Just when they start talking and it starts to make sense what it is all about, you would have to write the main topic for yourself first. And then for the rest of your notes, you have to write supporting points, and 3 supporting points is enough. And it's better to write one idea in more than just 1 or 2 words, just like maybe half of a sentence or even a sentence, as opposed to write down a lot of separate words that would be just really scattered, and then at the end it would be hard for you to make sense and to put sentences together. So it's better when you hear the idea that seems important to you, it's better to take time and to write down the sentence that would make sense to you. And even if you miss the second sentence that comes, it doesn't matter, then you can catch up and write down another idea. So ideally you should be able to write down on your notes 1 topic and 3 main ideas. And I want to give you an example how then you can put those notes into a nice lecture. I'm gonna use an example. As I was preparing, I was listening to the lecture, and I'm going to read to you my notes, what I was able to write down while I was listening to the recording. So for the topic, I wrote down homelessness and environment, and I also made a note for myself: unemployment is caused by homelessness. So that was the main topic. And then for the supporting point 1, I wrote down housing, green design, healthier buildings. For the supporting point 2, I wrote down public collaborations, investors, government are involved. And for the last supporting point, I wrote down student architects create designs. Other students get involved too. Areas are used by organizations. Integrated housing. So that's all that I was able to write down. And for this question, I am using the template all the time, and it's okay to use the same template for all retail lecture questions, no matter how many you get in your exam. So now I'm going to put my notes into the template, and you will hear how the answer would sound like. I'm gonna start reading my template and adding my notes. In this lecture, the speaker talks about, and now I'm adding the main topic. So I would say about homelessness and environment, and how unemployment is caused by homelessness. What I did now, I didn't even have to think, because now I'm reading the template, but in the exam I memorized the template, so I would already know it. So what I would need to do, I would just recall that template and just read from my notes, and I have a beautiful first sentence without struggling, without having to pause or hesitate and losing points on that. And then the second sentence in my template sounds like, according to the speaker, he mentions that. And now I'm looking at my first supporting point and saying, he mentions that housing, green design, and healthier buildings are important for the community and to solve homelessness. And it wasn't all that I wrote down, but then as I read what I wrote down, I kind of added few more words just to create the sentence, because what you write down, sometimes it may not be enough to have the full sentence in your answer. So you just kind of have to be you have to think very quickly while you're recalling the template and looking at your notes. You have to, like, for what you have written, but for your main supporting point 1, you just have to very quickly create a nice sentence from it. And then I continue with my template, and it says, moreover, what the speaker indicates is that, and then I'm moving to my second supporting point. So I would say the speaker indicates that public collaborations, investors, and government are the main parties that are involved in this project. And then my next sentence would be, last but not least, the speaker also emphasizes that, and I move on to my last supporting point, which is student architects also are creating the designs, and our students also are getting involved, and the areas are used by other organizations, and that helps to solve the problem of unemployment amongst the homeless people, and that is all called integrated housing. And my last sentence would be, in general, this lecture is about, and then I look back to my topic, to my first line of my notes, and I just repeat that. So it would be, in general, this lecture is about homelessness and environment, and how it causes unemployment. So yeah, so that is my technique of how to do this question correctly. But for that, you need to really memorize the template, and you need to master taking notes, because as I mentioned in the beginning, taking notes is the key thing to do well in this question. Of course, you have to keep a good flow. You need to talk without pauses and hesitations, because you would lose points for that, and you need to keep talking the whole time, and you need to make sure that you're not cut off at the end. So you need to follow the timer, and if you see that you're running out of time, it's just few seconds left, just jump right away into your conclusion and use the last sentence of your templates. So I hope that helped you guys to kind of get an idea how to do this question correctly and how you can practice on it. If you're doing the test again and again and you are struggling and you need a private help, just feel free to shoot me an email. I have consultations and private training and some ebooks and other things that I can offer to you at the moment. So if you want to hear more about that, just send me an email. If you have questions about the topic that we covered today, then ask it in the comments below. My email is going to be in the description box, and that's all I have for you for today, guys. Have a nice day.